Everyone keeps asking, how much money do I need to buy a house? So today we're going to break down real numbers based on real purchase prices here in Craven County. I'm Nikki Rogers with Team Nikki Rogers. I'm a local lender here in Newark, North Carolina. Today we are going to be breaking down the real math on what a monthly payment, upfront cost, and what kind of price range that would also be. And lastly, we're going to dig into how much income you need to make versus the debts you have to purchase said house. Picture this. You're a first-time home buyer and you're not sure how much house you qualify for. So we're going to make some assumptions here. We're going to assume that you're going to be looking to use the North Carolina Down Payment Assistance Program that gives you $15,000 towards the transaction. Also, we're going to be assuming that you're going to be using an FHA loan to go along with that because it is the most common scenario. The next assumption is going to be that closing costs are $7,000. The reason we're picking that is it ranges anywhere between 6 to 8 in the price points we're going to be talking about. The last and final assumption is we are going to be using an interest rate directly from North Carolina Housing Down Payment Assistance. The rate today we're going to use is 6.25. Let's get into the numbers. At a purchase price of $225,000, the down payment is 3.5%. That is $7,875. Go into what the closing cost assumptions are. As we said before, we're assuming $7,000. That total number will then bring $14,875 needed for the closing table. Sidebar, we were talking a lot about North Carolina housing and the assistance of $15,000. If you noticed, you need $14,875 and you're going to get $15,000. So that means you need $0 of your dollars at the closing table. Now let's break down this payment. The principal and interest on this loan would be $1,360 based on the assumptions we said before. The mortgage insurance premium would be $99. This total combined is $1,459 a month. Then we're going to assume that the taxes are $140 a month, and we're going to assume the insurance is $160 a month for total escrows of $300. So when you add all those numbers together, your housing payment that you will be making every month is $1,759. Next up, we're going with $325. The reason we're choosing this is because that's the mid-range of what homes we're seeing that are selling for buyers that are in this market. Now let's get to the math. On a $325,000 house, the down payment is $11,675. Again, assuming closing costs of $7,000. That means that you would need $18,375. Sidebar, we're still assuming that you qualify for North Carolina Housing Down Payment Assistance. That means you have $18,375 over here and you've got $15K. So that difference is $3,375. That's what you would be responsible for on closing day. Now we're going to break down the payment. The principal and interest at the assumed rate of 6.25 is $1,965. The mortgage insurance on this will be $144 for a total payment prior to escrows of $2,109. We're going to assume that the taxes are $175 a month, that the insurance is $200 a month for a total escrow balance of $375 a month. This makes a total house payment of $2,484. Next up, $425. We chose this number because this is usually the top range of this type of client that we're talking about. Now we're going to jump into the numbers. On a $425,000 house, your down payment is $14,875. Again, we're assuming closing costs of $7,000. This is a total amount due at closing of $21,875. Sidebar. Again, if you qualify for down payment assistance, still at this price point, it's under their max loan amount. So on this side, you have $21,875 that you need, and you're going to get this credit of $15,000 over here. That leaves a difference of $6,875 that you would be responsible on closing day. Next, we're going to break down that payment. The principal and interest is $2,570. The mortgage insurance on this price point is $188. That makes for a total payment to the mortgage company of $2,758 a month. Next, we're going to assume that taxes are $230 a month and insurance is $240 for a total escrow of $470 a month. When you take those two numbers and put them together, your total all-in payment you'll be making to the mortgage company is $3,228. The client is really looking to know if they make enough money to buy their house they're looking at on Zillow or Redfin or any of the websites that you look at. So we're going to break down based on assumptions of an average person that is a first-time home buyer. Our assumptions are going to be that they have a car payment of $600. Our next assumption is going to be that they have 2 credit cards, and we only use the minimum payment that is reporting on your credit report. So I'm going to take a minimum payment of $25 for each card to have a total amount of $50 in revolving debt monthly required payment. I'm going to assume that we use our credit cards wisely and that we keep that balance low, and therefore we only have the minimum payment, right? Next, we're going to assume a student loan payment of $100 a month. Most of the clients we see are either on income-based repayment plan or in deferment. We're going to assume that you've got your dream job and you're paying that back based on your income. So we're going to assume the payment of $100. North Carolina Housing Down Payment Assistance has a debt to income ratio of 45% of your total debts. What does that mean?
What is DTI? A financial ratio which compares a borrower's total monthly debts to their gross monthly income.
DTI, how much money you got left over after life starts lifing?
That income is going to be divided by 45%, and therefore it's going to tell you what your max household debts are. Let's start with our starter home of $225. As we said before, that total payment a month is $1,759. The total debt that you can have with our $750 that we already discussed on your credit report is $2,509. The required income to meet your total debts with that monthly payment is $66,900. Next, let's go to our mid-range house of $325. The payment is $2,484. We add in our assumed $750 a month in other debt. Our total debt would be $3,234 a month. The required income for this amount is $86,200 a year. And last up, our top range we see a lot for North Carolina Housing Down Payment Assistance is $425. The payment on that was $3,228. Then again, we're adding our assumed $750 of other monthly debts for a combined total debt amount of $3,978. That total debt requires a minimum of income of $106,100 per year. I want to be super clear. These are all assumptions. These numbers could change for a number of reasons. They could change based on the program you're using, based on the interest rate. Every house has a different tax value associated to it, and every house has its own insurance policy, which is custom. So again, these are estimates.
Guesstimations.
Now let's be real. Most of my clients qualify for more than they're comfortable paying monthly. It really is about your budget. It all comes down to the payment, okay? So we need to focus more on what payment you're comfortable and work towards that purchase price. If you're wondering where you personally fall into this, call us, email us, DM us on all our social media platforms, smoke signals, however you need to get in touch with us, and we will customize this for you specifically. Also, we will give you one of these nifty Team Nikki Rogers pens. Ask the agents, and they love them. I'm Nikki Rogers with Team Nikki Rogers, serving Eastern North Carolina locally. We're also licensed in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Call us if you're looking to move, relocate, or buy in those areas. I'm talking to you, high school friends in Nova.